So today's an off day for me. That means I'm not going to train at all. And I've really started to rethink how I approach off days. It used to be that, the only thing I would do is just not exercise. And sometimes I would treat even off days, I would train. I would do some kind of zone one training or something to help me recover, which a lot of times is the right call. But depending on the training phase that you're on, and depending on the goal of the program and how intense some of your training days are, sometimes the best thing to do is just take a day and shut it down. And so yesterday I did lactate threshold running intervals. I did 3 sets of 10 minutes at or around my lactate threshold, which is a little over 170 beats per minute. I did 3 of those with 3 minutes break in between, and it's not like the hardest running workout, but it's a pretty intense running workout. And I did a double on Monday of an easy run. I'm gonna do a double tomorrow, which is Thursday, with an easy run and a lift. I did an easy run and a lift on Monday. And so today is a day to just kind of shut it down completely. I'm not gonna really worry about anything, but what I'm gonna walk you through is what I do on these off days when I don't do anything at all. Keep in mind, like with these, and with my personality, I think a lot of people can relate to this. It's like we just want to go. We want to continue to move. We feel like we need to be doing something all the time, and that creates a lot of mental tension. And that mental tension, that stress, it plays in just as much as the physical tension does. And so I've come up with a few things that I do to take care of myself, take care of my body, take care of my mind, and kind of package all of that together. So the first thing I do is I realize that I have to make a shift in mental and physical action. And that changes first thing in the morning. When I get up, I read first thing in the morning. And on most days, I read business material or I read training material. And I'm constantly looking to improve my knowledge, reinforce the knowledge that I have, remember things that I've lost, make my business better, make myself better as a coach, and as a programmer. On off days, I don't do that. The first thing I do is I remove that mental tension and I just read stuff that is fun or that I want to read. Like this morning, I read an article that was reposted in Gray's Sporting Journal from 1924, and it's a funny article about writing fishing articles and making fun of how people write fishing articles. And so rather than starting with tension and trying to push myself harder today, I started with something that I can relax and just enjoy. And that sets the tone for the day. I work from home. I'm still gonna work. I have a fair amount of things to do today, and I'm gonna do them. But even pulling back that little bit of mental tension helps a lot with your mental recovery and your physical recovery. So that's the first thing that I do. The second thing that I'm gonna do is I'm going to meditate today. Not for super long. I'm just gonna take like 5 minutes or so, and I'm going to sit down and I'm just gonna breathe. I'm gonna take a 4-second breath in, a 6-second breath out, and hold my breath out for 2. And that's a cadence that I learned from some guys that I work with the operators that I work with. And it's really good for just toning your nervous system down. So I'm gonna take a break in the middle of the day and I'm gonna do that. Another thing I'm gonna do is just walk my dog a few times. I'm just gonna go out, it's raining, who cares? I'm gonna throw on my jacket and take my dog out for some nice slow walks. Most days I track my step count and make sure that I hit enough, what I deem enough. Today I'm not even gonna worry about that. I'm just gonna go take my dog for some walks, enjoy it, go slow, let her sniff as much shit as she wants to sniff, and we're just gonna hang out and relax. The other thing I'm gonna do is, even though I do have to work today, I'm gonna work at a less feverish pace. So I put fewer things on my checklist. I'm gonna work on things that are more fun to me, like doing stuff like this, recording and editing video, instead of the really hard charging tasks or making a bigger list. Again, it's just trying to line up all the stressors, right? So when we're gonna be working hard, let's work hard both physically and mentally. And when we need to shut it down, let's shut it down, or at least tone it down physically and mentally, instead of going hard on everything. Because that way, or hard on one thing and relaxing on another, because that way you actually have the peaks and troughs that you need for recovery. If you always have one thing that's going to be building tension, you don't really actually get that undulating wave that you want that's going to help you recover. Another thing I do today on days like this is I cut back caffeine. I'm a 2 cup in the morning kind of guy, and this morning I only have 1. I had one, and then I had a cup of black tea. And just decreasing the caffeine intake, again, I mean, I'm not training as hard. You will metabolize it differently if you don't go out and you're not as active with drinking the caffeine. And I just want to tone everything back as much as I can today. And another thing that I'm gonna focus on is eating enough to catch up. So on days when I train really, really hard, my appetite isn't great. So like yesterday when I was running, I ate a fair amount, but it still wasn't enough to catch up with everything that I did yesterday. So today I'm gonna make sure that I get some extra calories in so I'm where I need to be to continue to recover and perform and maintain my body composition. Having days where you're really focused on your recovery and you're trying to line up all of those things is gonna help immensely. It's gonna help way more than half-assing a recovery day or feeling like you need to continue to push. If you're gonna train hard, you have to recover with just as much focus, and that means lining things up as much as you can. Now I understand nothing's perfect and not everybody has the ability to work their schedule the way that I do. I understand that I'm self-employed, I run 2 businesses, but that comes with its own stressors for sure. My gym is 5 minutes away and most of the time I work from home. I get all of that stuff, but nonetheless, there are lessons in here of how you can line up different stressors and what you can do to make better use of your off days so you get better recovery.